Hi, I'm Cheryl. Welcome back to Travels with the Red Suitcase. Or if you're a first-time visitor, welcome. I hope that what I have to share with you today will really make an impression on you, because I'm going to talk about how to save yourself from financial devastation when you travel. When we get ready to travel, we usually have a checklist. We have our passport, we have our credit card, we have maybe our medical card, we have purchased trip insurance, we might have maps of where we're going to go, we've made our reservations, we have our ticket, we have everything that we need. Except most of us don't have one thing. And that one thing is emergency medical evacuation insurance. There are so many people that do not know that this exists and do not know what it is and do not know why they should have it. And so I think this is an extremely important video for me to do to educate you and to keep you from financial disaster, which is what will happen. So I have a couple of true stories to tell you. The first one is about a friend of mine who a decade ago was in Tokyo, and she was hit by a car. She was taken to the hospital. She was in a coma. She did not have this insurance, and she didn't have, and her family didn't have, the money to have her medically evacuated to the United States. And 6 days later, she died in the hospital in Tokyo. When I was living in Mexico, I shared a house with an American woman who was a liaison for an air ambulance company in Mexico. This company medically evacuated people from Puerto Vallarta, from the west coast of Mexico, to San Diego, or from the east coast to Houston. And she was the liaison because she had been an EMT paramedic in her previous life in the United States. So Friday afternoon, she got a phone call from her company that there was a gentleman who needed to talk to her because he needed to air evacuate his wife from Mexico. So here's the backstory. This woman and her friend were vacationing in the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula. They were not in Cabo San Lucas. They were in a town. And they were walking along the beach, and a rogue wave hit her, knocked her down, and she hit her head on a rock on the beach. They took her to the 6-bed clinic in the town. And after examining her, the doctor said she had a closed head injury and that she was in a coma. So the woman, her friend, called the husband in Anchorage, Alaska, and explained what had happened. And he now had some decisions to make. Does he leave her in the 6-bed clinic and hope that she recovers in the next 24 hours? Does he have her medically evacuated to Puerto Vallarta, to a hospital with medical equipment, which will cost him anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000? She would have to be taken by ambulance from this town to Cabo San Lucas and then put on the medical evacuation jet and then flown to Puerto Vallarta. Or does he evacuate her to the United States? A lot of big decisions to make. So if this was you as the patient, what would your family do? If this was a member of your family, what would you do? And I want you to remember, this is only from Mexico to the United States. This is not from Asia or Europe or Africa. So my friend gets a call from her company at about 4:30 in the afternoon. And she has to contact the husband in Anchorage. He has two big surprises coming. The first surprise is the cost of evacuating someone from Mexico, and it's going to be right about $24,000 because she's on a private jet. She has a pilot, she has medical equipment, and depending on her need, she may have a paramedic, an EMT, a nurse, or a doctor flying with her. The second surprise is that they don't take you to your home. They're not taking her to Anchorage. They're taking her to San Diego. They take her to the nearest U.S. medical facility, San Diego or Houston, or sometimes Miami. So think about that for a minute. What would you do? What decision would you make if this was a family member? So maybe it would help you if you had some financial information. When I lived in Puerto Vallarta, if you were a foreigner and you were in the hospital in Puerto Vallarta, before they would release you, you would have to pay your total medical bill in cash. Even though Mexico is cheaper than probably where you live, you're still looking at about $800 a day. So how many days would this woman be in the hospital? And who would pay for it? If you are on Medicare, they're not paying for it. If you have travel insurance, you need to read the fine print. If you think that you're covered with your credit card, you may be in for a big surprise. Go online to your bank, to your credit card, pull up your travel benefits and see what it says. My travel benefits say they will assist me in finding services. It doesn't say we're pulling out our checkbook and we're going to pay $24,000 to get you home to the States. This is important because you do not want to be in a foreign country and either you have to make this decision or your family has to make the decision. And hopefully, if you are unconscious, if you are in a coma, if you are not able to make this decision, hopefully you have given them a medical power of attorney to make some decisions for you. That's another issue we'll talk about in a different video. So this gentleman did not have $24,000 on his credit card or in his bank that he could hand over to get his wife to the United States on a Friday afternoon. This man had to spend the entire weekend thinking about what's happening to his wife in a 6-bed clinic in the southern tip of Baja, Mexico, with limited medical support. And then he had to be at the bank when it opened on Monday morning, and he had to put a mortgage on his house to get his wife out of Mexico to the United States. That's pretty serious money. This is called medical emergency evacuation insurance, but it's not insurance. It is a membership. It is like belonging to AAA, who will come in the middle of nowhere in the dark of night and change your flat tire for you. This coverage is offered by several different companies. And again, You want to look at the small print. You want to print out what they say they will cover. You want to highlight it and make check marks and circle it in red, and then call them and ask them questions before you plunk your money down. If you are traveling with somebody under the age of 18, will they have that person come with you as an escort? If you are someplace where a plane cannot land, how do you get from where you are to where the plane is? Is there anything in this paperwork that says you pay up front and we'll reimburse you something? Maybe. Do they pay up front? Who's responsible? Under what conditions will they not evacuate you? Go online, type in emergency medical evacuation insurance, print out the small print from any company that you are interested in, and compare. You do not want financial devastation when you are traveling. You need to cover your butt. Now, the program I had is called MedJet. And if you are a member of AAA, you can get MedJet. There are different levels of the program. You can get it for a 2-week vacation, a 3-month adventure. If you're going to be an expat and live overseas for a year or more, there's that kind of coverage. You want it serious. I can't tell you this enough. Look at the small print. Look at the small print. Make sure that you know all of the coverage and the loopholes. But whatever you do, now is the time to think about the what if, the plan B, or maybe it's your plan C. I don't know. But it's well worth your time to research this. As my grandmother would say, once burnt, twice shy. Don't get burnt. This is your heads up for covering your butt. So, if you liked this, if you learned something new, please hit the blue like button. And if you don't want to miss another one, hit the red subscribe button. On top of which, I have a WordPress blog of the same name, Travels with the Red Suitcase, that will allow you to read 52 stories of my 3-year adventure through 14 countries in Europe, 2 in Africa, and 1 lovely, lovely adventure outside of Copenhagen. Food for thought. Consider carefully. And I will see you next Thursday, same time, same channel, where we'll talk about the difference between travel insurance and trip insurance. And yes, there is a difference. Have a great week. Bye-bye.